Hey, good to see you all. It's been a couple weeks. I'm here at the church. Actually, I feel like I need an ascot or a pipe to sit in front of this fireplace, but it's too warm for that anyway. It's Wednesday. A lot of people are in and out of here, and I had a whole other devotional planned, but I have scribbled something instead from talking to so many of you. If I was to ask you this famous verse, Jeremiah 29:11, what does it say? For I know the plans I have for you. You can finish the rest. But what most people, by the way, that's the most least contextualized verse in the history of quoted verses, but that's another devotional maybe one day. Do you know what comes before that? Do you know what happens in chapter 28? Do you know the context? God's people, it's similar to the Isaiah series, were in exile, and you know what? They're sick and tired of it. They wanted to go home. They wanted their life to go back to normal. And that was God's ultimate plan for them, to go back home to Jerusalem, to go back to temple, to worship there, to be together. But they were in exile. And it's one of the most strange things and often not talked about things that happens in all the Bible. In chapter 28, Hananiah the prophet prophesies that God's people are going to return home within 2 years. Something everybody wanted to hear. It's what I would want to hear if I was in exile. Totally would want to hear that. Going home, 24 months, all I got to do is just gut it out. Turns out that was a false prophet. Jeremiah had the hard job of being, every prophet had a hard job, the true prophets, because they had to say things people didn't want to hear. But you know what he had to do? You know what he said? He spoke to these people who were ready to go home, who wanted to only hear what Hananiah had to say. And in chapter 29, verse 5 onward, I'll start at verse 4. So chapter 29, verse 4, it says, Thus says the Lord. This is Jeremiah, the true prophet. He says, Thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, to all the exiles whom I have sent into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. Listen to this. Build houses and live in them. Plant gardens and eat their produce. Take wives and have sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there and do not decrease. And here's the most important thing to hear. But seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile, and pray to the Lord on its behalf, for in its welfare you will find your welfare. I'll say it again. Seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile, and pray to the Lord on its behalf, for in its welfare you will find your welfare. Do you understand what he's saying? He's saying you're not going home. I want you to choose your city, to love your city in this time and place. You're going home one day, but right now the calling on your life is to seek their prosperity. And of course, it sounds very familiar to our time right now, huh? There's so much confusion. By the way, I'm not here to talk about our plan. This is Wednesday. We're going to do that in just a couple hours, Session and I are meeting. But there's so much confusion right now. I'm not a public health official, right? No pastor is. And you know what? There's so much polarity. 2 months after being a bit united in the beginning and all of us kind of feeling a bit humbled, we're back to our ways, huh? Division, polarity, all these different things, politics, all that. And there's uncertainty. There's uncertainty about our economy. All these things are happening. And, personally, I'm tired of this. And I'm a massive, extreme introvert with major social anxiety. I promise you that's not impacting the decision, though. But it has been nice to have Sundays where it's just me and Nathan and Brandy, okay? I'm Zoom meetinged out right now, too. Like, I've had enough, and I'm talking too loud because I'm so used to talking loud on Zoom meetings. It's changed everything, okay? And I'm getting sloppy. I forgot my mask here today. Gathering with people from time to time and getting a little sloppy here and there. What does it mean for me and you to seek the welfare of our city right now? To love our neighbor. I got an email from someone in our church last night who's generally homebound, and I want you to really listen to this. And she said something that really helped me understand what it means to even love our own people. The longer this continues, meaning that if we bring an upsurge here in June, if there's an uptick because we get sloppy, the longer she's quarantined. I know you're not thinking, all of us are not thinking about that. So often we're thinking about ourselves right now. Well, I'm not worried about, But what does it mean to care about people who are vulnerable in that position and want to be here too? That's a reality. And here's what I want to tell you. I am willing, as your leader, one of your leaders, to be wrong on timing. And for some of you, maybe even to say, boy, you should have opened up earlier. You were wrong about that. And you know what? I will tell you I'm sorry, and I was wrong. It's not hard for me to do that. It is much harder to be wrong on love. I'd rather be wrong on timing and right on love. I'd much rather be wrong on timing and right on love. Do you understand? Because there's real people here that are impacted by that. And so I want to challenge us right now, all of us, to consider that to be honest with you, what the anger I'm hearing from people, because I was going to do something on depression, and people are like, no, I'm angry. I'm angry. And they're angry because of the confusion, but I think there's also an anger, a grieving of a missed opportunity among Christians. Right now, what it feels like we're hearing is Christians demanding more of their rights and freedoms than about what it means to sacrifice and serve and love the city. I'm not saying sweeping broad, but that's what I'm hearing. And of course, it's true. We could totally just meet this Sunday, and other churches are, and I feel a bit of that pressure of we're a little bit behind on that. But I just want to again stop. Let's not forget something. How many times in your lifetime are you going to live through a worldwide shakeup where churches across the world could not meet? How are we missing an opportunity still? That God is doing something, and worldwide to humble us to a degree. And here we are 2 months later, back to our self-reliance. We just want to get back to normal. I get it. I do too. I do too. I'm ready to go somewhere else where it's not raining for a little bit. It rains here all the time. But the essence of the gospel is we have a king of the universe who gave up his rights to seek the welfare of humanity. That's Christianity. The king of the universe giving up his rights to serve. And are we missing an opportunity just to stop and pause, and maybe in a couple weeks everything will be normal, at best case scenario, right? But have we missed the opportunity? Are you grieving that? Are you praying for the people whose lives are being affected? There's so many people in our church whose lives are just utterly, will not be the same for them. And are you praying for them and their brokenness that they're experiencing? I want to encourage you to take your anger and your confusion and to bring it in prayer for your city, your state, your country, and of course the world. That God would continue doing a stirring. There's a stirring. You saw in the beginning, people were just dying to log on. I know we're all getting fatigued from technology, but there was a hunger there. Have we lost it already? Kind of like we did after 9/11. Kind of forget, go back to everything again. Let's not forget God is maybe stirring something, and we need to be praying about that and to seek the welfare of our city.